Iraq has a 10% growth rate year on year at the moment and has a terrific upsurge in oil and gas. And there's all to play for. Of course, there are a large number of difficulties. It's a very volatile situation physically. But what is remarkable is how well some of the growth is coming on. And in different parts of the country, and I visit most places very freely. I was there just last week, we'll be there in 10 days' time again. You'll find new roads, airports, schools, hospitals starting. There's a terrific upsurge. The volatility, at least in part, stems from the tragic hemorrhaging of Syria next door. And as we all know, the war in Syria has spilt over every single border, and Iraq has received, I think, almost 500,000 Syrian refugees. So, and with that comes a lot of fighters and difficulties and all the rest of it around the whole country, just the same as in Lebanon and, of course, in a different way in Turkey. So the hemorrhaging of Syria has grossly affected badly the stability of Iraq. But that does not stop necessarily the growth of inward investment, particularly on oil and gas, construction and infrastructure, finance and professional services, and so on.
Iraq certainly has incredible oil potential. Initially, there had been some doubts that it would be able to fully realize that potential. You seem optimistic. Could you tell us where you see Iraq in 5 years or 10 years down the road?
Iraq is already fulfilling her potential, and of course she has the partnership of the great oil majors of the globe. And I'm proud to say that the bulk of them belong to the Iraq-Britain Business Council, which is a not-for-profit organisation like an open-door club aimed at facilitating the progress of business and industry in Iraq and partnering Iraq with global international companies. Now, these global oil majors, they are magnificent. Their work has been tremendous, but there's a whole lot more still to be done. I shouldn't think the potential has been more than scratched the surface. So everything there in the north and the south and in the middle of Iraq, the potential is there, the potential is already being realised, but nothing like the magnitude with which it will be realised in the years to come.
Can you describe for me what Iraq might look like in 10 years?
Iraq is a huge and beautiful country. It's very rare in the Gulf because it has earth, water, it has oil underneath, minerals underneath, it has different weathers. So it is very rare indeed, and that it can grow all of its own food. If you look at some of the more sandy areas in the region, they have to import almost everything. Iraq stopped a whole number of things like food production in the bad years, and she's very deficient still on things like health and education, those core skills without which it's very difficult to earn a living in the modern environment. So there's a huge amount of investment that Iraq is demanding, and she's particularly looking for Western companies. Of course, she's got some Eastern, some Asian companies which are working very hard, but she's asking particularly for Britain, for the USA, and for Europe. So we've got to get in there and do the business.